Hello, I'm Dave Caldwell with your SCV News Break for Monday, August 25th. A Texarkana lawyer who is seeking compensation for victims of ex-pastor Tony Alamo will likely be going after his Santa Clarita properties in October. Attorney W. David Carter is in the process of having Alamo's Arkansas properties sold, and once he is done with that, he will go after the former pastor's land on Sierra Highway. Carter says he has been litigating properties for the victims of sex crimes against Tony Alamo since 2005. Alamo was sentenced to 175 years for taking wives as young as 8 years old and having people beaten and sexually abused on his command. When students at Charles Helmers Elementary were asked to donate chunks of change to help fight ALS, they didn't hold back. Maybe the reason was the chance to see their assistant principal get soaked with a bucket of ice-cold water. Assistant Principal Dina Rusk did just that at a school-wide assembly Monday morning. The fight to find a cure for Lou Gehrig's disease hits close to home for her.
I went to high school with someone named Sean Frazier, the most amazing, positive guy you'll ever meet. And last year he passed away. He was probably 47 years old. And he touched so many lives, and this has touched so many lives, and just this whole ice bucket challenge thing has just gone crazy, but has raised so much money for such a good cause.
Rusk says the school will continue to accept donations for ALS through the end of the week. Phase 3 of Santa Clarita Central Park is now complete. City leaders and Castaic Lake Water Agency officials gathered Monday for an official ribbon-cutting ceremony in Saugus. The new area on the west side of the new park includes 2 new multi-use sports fields, 170 new parking stalls, lighted walkways, and shade structures. Parks Director Rick Gould says the design process for Phase 4 has already begun. It's the final phase in the development of Central Park and will include a tennis complex.
We don't really know exactly how many courts or what that will look like. That's part of the design phase. It'll also light the dog park, hopefully, and add additional parking to the site and complete some of the pieces that we really need to make the whole park a system that was envisioned when the master plan was done back in the late 1990s.
The fencing surrounding the 2 new sports fields will be removed on Saturday, according to city officials. 2 new sites are being evaluated for a new senior center in Santa Clarita. The Santa Clarita Valley Committee on Aging is working with city and county officials to find a new site for the Santa Clarita Valley Senior Center. Even though officials guess that a spot won't be chosen for 2 years, there are 2 sites in particular that are being evaluated. One of the locations is the northeast corner of Newhall Ranch Road and Golden Valley Road, and the other is in North Valencia near Decorro Drive and McBean Parkway. The site must be able to accommodate a 30,000 square foot facility and approximately 172 parking spaces. A recent bear sighting in Towsley Canyon sparked interest in the community about how drought might be affecting wildlife in Santa Clarita. Haley Cook sat down with a Los Angeles County scientist who gave us some real answers about drought versus wildlife.
In the past I've said no, there's really no impact, but I think now we are seeing some effects.
California is in one of the most severe droughts on record. A state of emergency has been declared by Governor Brown, and water restrictions recently went into effect to help in the effort to conserve water. Anecdotal evidence shows that the effects of this severe drought has had a ripple effect on wildlife.
People might be seeing more coyote and bobcat occurrences because those smaller prey items that usually they're relying on, they're not doing so well, we believe, because their habitat and their resources are not available. Other areas of great concern for wildlife with the drought are aquatic wildlife, fish that rely on those water sources, anadromous fish, those are the fish that go from the ocean to the fresh water, and they don't have the ability because some of those streams and those passageways have been drying up.
Recent sightings of a bear in the popular hiking spot Towsley Canyon sparked interest within the community.
So we've got this area where wildlife are expanding, they have nowhere else to go, and people are seeing them more. Plus we have social media, we have cell phones and videos, we have security cameras on homes. So I think in combination with the increasing wildlife populations and the encroachment on their habitat, we're also seeing more of an awareness.
Because a bear study hasn't been done in more than 4 decades, knowledge about home ranges and resources that the bears might still have is minimal. Rebecca Barbosa says she has recently proposed the San Gabriel Mountains Black Bear Study. Funded by Big Game Management, the study will provide factual information about bears that is otherwise unknown.
We can tell between individuals, so we can get a relative density, population estimates. Depending on how I set my traps up, we can tell home range size, and there's any number of things that we can tell from this relatively non-invasive technique. We haven't had a comprehensive bear study in Southern California since about the 1970s. In order to effectively manage a species, we need to know a little bit more about it, other than anecdotally we think that the population is growing.
If you come into contact with wildlife on the trail or in your home, there are several things you can do.
For the most part, you know, if someone sees a bear, it's probably just best to keep calm and just back away. With a mountain lion or with a coyote, however, you want to stand your ground. You want to be as big as you possibly can. You want to throw rocks at it, make as loud as noise as possible. And again, don't feel that you need to set out water and food for the wildlife, because they're very adaptable, and they've survived for eons without humans' help, and it's not necessary.
I'm Haley Cook for SCV TV.
The Santa Clarita Valley continues to be the leader of rabid bat sightings in Los Angeles County. Another rabid bat was found at a Newhall home on Friday, which brings the count to 13 bats found in Santa Clarita. The bat was seen clinging to a kitchen window screen during the day, but was later found on the ground. Officials want to remind residents to never touch a bat, dead or alive, and to immediately call animal control if you come into contact with one. Now, in case you missed it, a multiple car crash in Sylmar on Friday left 2 College of the Canyons football players dead and 1 in critical condition. 19-year-old Isaiah Hastings and 18-year-old Alexander Manu died, and Eldridge Salguero remains in the intensive care unit in critical condition. The football players' black 2005 Nissan 300Z collided with a 2013 Honda Odyssey minivan. Now turning to weather, Monday was breezy and temperatures stayed in the low 80s. The week is going to slowly heat back up, with temperatures soaring to 100 on Friday. That's all for your SCV News Break. For more local news, you can log on to hometownstation.com or scvnews.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Dave Caldwell.